Mic check.
Live from Lincoln, this is Channel 8 Eyewitness News at 6.
Coming up tonight on the news, after thriving as a student, one woman is returning to the classroom to shape children's minds.
Also, a very close call for one Nebraska state trooper. We're going to hear from him, but first.
So many lives are touched because one person is gone.
More on the murder of a Lincoln woman. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us.
We know the fatal shooting of Jessica Brandon was not a random attack.
But police haven't yet released any suspects in the case. Channel 8 Eyewitness News reporter Bailey Bischoff has more, and she's live for us in our top story. Bailey?
Rod and Megan, you can see the police are still here, still at the scene of the crime, investigating. They have listed some persons of interest, but they're not sharing any information about them or any suspects at this time. This is 36-year-old Jessica Brandon. She was shot and killed after at least two intruders forced their way into her home near 20th and Fairfield Streets early Tuesday morning.
Investigative details have established that the invasion into the home and deplorable violence that followed was not random. We do not believe there is an ongoing threat to the public.
Police say they do have persons of interest in the case, but say the motive into the shooting and whether or not Jessica was the target is unclear.
Our investigators are reviewing details of interviews completed yesterday with the 2 adults and 4 children that were in the home at the time of the shooting. Electronic and physical evidence that has been seized is being processed.
Her friends say they're heartbroken for the loss of Jessica, who was a mother, grandmother, and friend to all.
I loved her big, bright smile. Anytime she walked in the room and she had her smile on, it was like there was nobody else in the room.
She loved so hard. She loved her kids so much.
And say they don't know why something so senseless would happen.
For her to be taken away from us for so soon, it just felt like my heart was breaking. I'm mad and I'm angry, but most of all, I'm sad because she's not gonna be here.
And like the police department, they are urging you to come forward if you know anything about who was responsible for taking Jessica's life.
So many lives are touched because one person is gone. And it's not fair to not get justice for her. She deserves it.
If you live or work in this area and have video cameras, police are asking you to give them a call. That phone number is 402-441-6000. Or if you have any relevant information about this crime, you can leave an anonymous tip with Crime Stoppers. In the meantime, while police are trying to find justice for Jessica, the friends I spoke to are asking you to support the family. We have a link to a GoFundMe page on our website, klkntv.com.
Bailey Bischoff live with our top story. Thank you, Bailey.
There was a fire in Minden at a bus barn there. It happened yesterday. The state fire marshal's office is ruling it an accident. It was started by a vehicle that was inside the barn at the time. Fortunately, there were no injuries. A worker did manage to pull out some of other equipment located inside.
An update on the Sidney Loof murder case. Bailey Boswell will face the death penalty. The state attorney general's office told us that today. Last month, the state announced it would seek the death penalty against Aubrey Trail as well. Boswell and Trail are accused of murdering and dismembering Loof last November. Boswell will be back in court on August 6th.
The York County Public Defender is in hot water tonight. Nancy Waldron is accused of writing checks to herself from a bank account from two sisters, and we're told the money totals tens of thousands of dollars. Waldron will be in court again on August 15th. Well, a close call for a state trooper.
That's right. A couple of weeks ago, he was hit, and tonight he's sharing his story. Sydney Edwards has more from Trooper George Scott.
The semi was in my lane coming southbound right at me.
Before he knew it, a semi was headed straight towards him, and he needed to act quickly.
I was able to make just a sharp turn to the right, and you can kind of see from the side here, he was able to come down the side of the vehicle.
You can see just how smashed in the driver's side of the vehicle was. In between that and the passenger side being pushed against the bridge, Trooper Scott says he had to maneuver his way out of the car.
I still had power, was able to roll that window down, and I had to crawl across the console, the computer system, you know, my bag that I have here, and climb out the window.
When he made it out, he noticed the semi about a quarter mile from the collision crashed down a steep embankment.
The Dundee County Sheriff's Office had determined that there was some potential medical issues, which was some of the causation for the actual crash.
There was also a second passenger in the semi, the driver's young grandson. Neither suffered life-threatening injuries. Trooper Scott says if he wasn't able to react, the situation could have been much worse.
I've seen the effects of that for my 26-year career, and it's usually the larger vehicle ends up, you know, winning in those situations.
He also thanks the first responders and Dundee County Sheriff's Office for getting there when they did.
In this case, I was just tickled that they were out there. It was a relief to me, and I'm sure I could not overstep and speak for the other driver because they were there very quickly.
And we want to let you know, just a day after that accident, Trooper Scott picked up a new car and was back out patrolling the roads.
You bet, he got back on the horse. All right, let's get to your first weather now with Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki. Dean, we've had that run of cooler than normal temps, but boy, we're back to August temps, right?
We are, yeah. Temperatures today topped out at 90, but hey, the morning low was really nice. It was still in the 50s, so one of those mornings you can still keep the windows open. You can kiss that goodbye, though, as some much hotter weather is heading our way. Temperatures from our viewer network pretty close to 90 degrees across much of the area, and we're going to see temperatures eclipsing 90. A cool front is poised to our north, generally right along the Platte River and off into western Iowa. A few storms now starting to pop up into areas of western Iowa. Still an isolated shot. We could see a storm or two pop up along that front along and south of the Platte River here within the next couple of hours. But it's only about a 10% chance, a better chance for storms, though, coming in here overnight into tomorrow. Behind that front, temperatures in the 70s to right around 80 degrees while we're closer to 90 on the south side of that front. Those dew points are ticking up a little bit as well. They were in the 50s, now 60s, and even 70 is a dew point in York, so a little bit on the uncomfortable side. There is a little bit of a breeze out of the southwest. That'll be changing to the north. One more halfway decent comfortable day tomorrow. Then the 90s, humidity are back as we head into the weekend. Also, a few chances for storms. I'll detail that for you coming up a little bit later.
All right, thank you, Dean.
All right.
There's some new leadership at the University of Nebraska. James Pottorff will be the next vice president and general counsel. President Hank Bounds announced it today. Pottorff has more than 25 years of legal experience in higher education and the military. He still, though, has to be approved by the Board of Regents. After coming to Lincoln from Africa and going through Lincoln Public Schools, one woman is returning to the classroom.
That's right. She was recently hired as a teacher by LPS. Channel 8 Eyewitness News reporter Rachel Miner talked with her today and joins us now with more. Rachel?
Rod and Megan, Olga came to Lincoln at 11 years old and knew very little English. Teachers from LPS worked with her and made such an impact on her life that she decided to become one. Now she's getting ready to start her first year as a teacher with LPS.
While kids are enjoying their last few days of summer vacation, one Lincoln Public Schools teacher is more than ready for the school year to start.
At first, I was like, am I dreaming? Because it's been something that I've wanted for a very, very long time.
Olga moved to Nebraska with her family from Africa at just 11 years old. She started attending Park Middle School but knew very little English. Teachers spent extra time working with her to improve her language skills. It's those dedicated teachers who inspired her to follow in their footsteps.
Just because I had them and they were willing to work with me and giving me that extra time, I am here and I'm a product of that.
Now Olga is getting ready to start her first year as a second grade teacher at Belmont Elementary in Lincoln. Despite the nerves and first day jitters, Olga says she's more than ready to meet her students.
I just want to know that they're going to be loved and cared for, and to know that they're here for a great experience and that we're going to make school fun and a great learning time for them, and for them to just flourish and become the best that they can be.
Now that she's achieved her dream of becoming a teacher, Olga hopes to be a role model for her students, just like her teachers were.
They do have the best because of the teachers that I had, here I am today.
Now, Olga has already been working for several weeks, going through some new teacher training. She's probably one of the only people who is super excited for school to start here in about a week and a half.
All right, great story. Thank you, Rachel.